term the other day that was pretty interesting. You know, they talk about salespeople. Are you a hunter? And you know, and the one guy said hunting on the farm, which I thought was a great terminology. So hunting, you know, in sales could be I'm going after brand new accounts, or I'm trying to grow the business with my existing customer base. So let's click on
Okay.
the call the name accounts, and then that brings us to the landing page. Let's go to our list view because we like our list views, and we'll hit the little down arrow where beside where it says recently viewed, just over to your left. There we go. So that's always where our list views when we're on a landing page, and then say all accounts. So here is a bunch of your account records in here. I think I got, I'm probably at about 95% correctness. There's going to have to be some cleanup as we go on this side of it because some of it is a little bit confusing. But what I was able to do also is I brought in a bunch of your transaction records as well. So this should look like, if we scroll back up to the top, it should look like your top customers down. The ones I haven't brought in yet and I'm going to bring in are the ones that are what we call person accounts, and we're going to go over that here in a second. So I mostly focused on company accounts. So here is
Okay.
pretty simple. I've got just my company record here related to this particular account. So yeah, let's click on one of the account records. Doesn't matter which one we go in. There we go. Hopefully I've got, so here you can see I didn't have a phone number, maybe a website. At any given time, if you're dealing with this account on a regular basis, I like to keep it nice and clean. Over on the right-hand side is the edit button. Anybody can go in and update this particular account and add a phone number or the website on that side of it. So it just opens up our form. And so go ahead and hit edit. We'll take a look at it. And then this is essentially the account details on this side of it. So we'll come in here, and then if you know what the phone number is, go to the phone number and enter it when you got a chance, right? So on that side of it. So yeah, that's what I recommend that we do. You can see here that billing street, billing address. You've got some searches and stuff. So this is just your standard stuff. A lot of the stuff down below is just stuff I used to help me sort things out, so you don't have to pay too much attention to that. What we're mostly interested in is phone numbers and addresses at the account record, and trying to keep that as clean as we possibly can. So let's hit the cancel
Okay.
button on this screen that we're in. Up at the top of the page, below the address, is what we have related items, and that's our quick links. But what I'm going to get you to do is just go down just a little bit and then click on the tab that says related. It's right beside the word details. So what happens is this is a relational database, so things get related to the account record. And one of the things that gets related to it is contacts. So we load in the contacts that we have. I still have to do some work on your loading of contacts, probably only about 30% done getting all the contacts in. But I wanted to make sure that we had some samples there that you could take a look at. The other thing that we want to relate, I've related to it. If you scroll down the page, there's the job numbers. So I've been able to put in some of your job numbers. Go ahead and click on one of those job numbers. And then, so that's some of the data that you gave me. Because I have that job ID number, if you had another record that had more detail and description, it wouldn't take me too much. As long as you can print me out a report with that same job ID number, we could add more information here if we wanted to. So
that's thing that I think I mentioned in my emails to you that I'm concerned about, because we've got like 10 years of data tied to these job numbers in Intelevent.
yeah.
That could we load invoices so we could take a look at what, say 17240-1, it would say, oh yeah, that's that job when we did this, or when he says, hey, when you did that work for us last year and blah blah blah,
Yeah.
the job number is such and such. could we pull up the invoices if we provided it for you?
Yeah, so
You know
in
what I mean?
that, but that's in like a PDF, or what's the format on that side of it?
We're not really, IntelliVent is a really, really old, the version we're using is really, really old.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, we're a little concerned about how we're going to get that data out.
Yeah, I mean, we can do things like if you go up to the top left, that there's a thing that says related, right beside the details section. So just up a little bit, yeah, click on that. So I don't have a lot of stuff related to these as objects because there wasn't a ton of data there, but we could relate files, we could attach files, we could do whatever we want, right, to append this particular set of information here. So my
So let me just, the related tab that we just clicked on just now,
yeah,
is that specific to the client or specific to the actual job number?
this job number.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
That's great.
So I can attach a file to it. I can put another object with a bunch of metadata fields, do whatever we want on that side of it. I would suggest, when you look at it, you have to say, like for me, from a pure sales, not a customer support perspective, but a pure sales perspective, I look at data and we look at three things. It's kind of like, what's a customer done? What are they doing? And what are they gonna do? Right? And the value of that data goes up exponentially the more predictive it gets. So what have they done has a certain amount of value. What are they doing is more valuable, and what are they going to do is the most valuable on that side of it. So when we look at putting a lot of historical data in there, like from a pure sales perspective, if I can go to my accounts tab and say, give me my top customers, and then I can be hunting on the farm, and we're just using some of this job data to make that nice, list for us, then I'm pretty happy with what I've got there. From a customer service perspective, it can be a little bit different because if they're calling in and say, hey, I bought this from you and we want to use Salesforce to help create a service ticket, the more detail we have on that deal, the better the service ticket's going to go, right? So, but at any given
Yeah.
time, the nice thing is we got that job ID in there. You're going to have Televan open at the same time. Go over there, enter that job ID, and then look at what's in Televan too, right? So we've got options
Yeah.
on that side of it.
Yeah.
Hit the
Hey,
browse.
so if
Oh, sorry.
one other question about, say, St. Mary's, this one we're looking at right now, is there any way, like if we didn't want to load all that old data in there then, is there any way we could put some sort of description in of what that job number referred to?
You can put, this is a blank canvas here, right? I made up all those fields.
Okay.
So whatever you want to add, no problem
Okay.
on that side of it. Hit your browser back button, and then that'll take us back to the St. Mary's record. So we can see there's our contacts. So typically, like a typical sales process is maybe one of these guys is your top contact that you have there, right? And if it happens to be
Yeah.
that person, mostly what you're going to do is when they give you a call, you'll go up to the universal search, and let's put in one of these person's names up at the top of the universal search. And there it is. And then we just click on it. Perfect. So that's the quickest thing. Chris called. Bam. I'm now in Chris's record related to, St. Mary's. And then after I speak with them, I go directly over to the right-hand side and I log my call. So I'll go in and it says recap your call on the far right side. Yeah, just move your mouse down just a bit. Just a little bit more. There we go. And plug it in. And then I'll just put test call in there as an example.
Just put in,
Yeah,
sorry?
test calls.
Test call?
Yeah, yeah. And then go to the comments and type in test call again.
So literally we could, you know, we could be logging these calls as we speak to the client, right?
If you're a good typer, you can. A lot of times I'm not the greatest typer. I write it on a piece of paper and then bang, I put it in there, right? So it's,
Okay.
it depends on how good of a typer you are and things like that, right? So, And then let's go ahead and hit the save.
So I got a question.
Sure.
Let's say if, let's say, we've got this test call in here. I'm going to save it.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's save it. Do it.
Then I go off on holidays for,
Go ahead and save it. It will, because it doesn't.
yeah, I'm trying to.
Okay. If that thing's in the way,
Yeah,
just drag it and move it out of the way.
No. Doesn't give it the option.
It should be, if you hold your mouse down, you should be able to just click on it and drag it somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
there
one of
we
the
go.
corners. So yeah, inside there.
So what I was thinking was, Andrew's taking a call, or I've taken a call, then I'm off sick for a week, or I'm on holidays or something like that. Chris calls back and says, hey, I was speaking to Matt and blah, blah, blah. How easy is it for Andrew to find it? Would he go up and just to the
Chris, yep,
search?
you got it. And then on the right-hand side is the activity history. So that's our history timeline on the right-hand side. If we logged it, or we logged an email from Chris, all that will be sitting over on the right-hand side. Yeah, I don't think we went to Chris here. Let's go back up to Universal Search and type in Chris's name. There we go. Chris Maintenance Contact. It's just the one that was just, there it is. Perfect. And then on the right-hand side in the activity section is our activity timeline. So if you've logged the email, or you logged the call, or the meeting went in, that will all show up on the right-hand side.
So like you said, that universal search bar is our best friend.
Your best friend. It's the quickest way to get to where you want to go. And with Salesforce, you want to do everything the quickest, right? Because it's supposed to be not supposed to be, it is a productivity tool. So we want to use the features that allow us to have the most productivity.
Okay.
So, speaking about productivity tools, the other thing that you can do, I myself, I like to use this particular feature. I'll set it up so when you send an email from Salesforce, it actually goes through your Gmail server and looks like you're sending it directly from Gmail. Directly to the right in that activity section is the tab that says email. Let's go ahead and just click on that. One of the, let me see here, send through Salesforce, send through Office, just hit the send through Salesforce. That's fine because we don't use the Office 365. So one of the things I love about this is if we go down below the email editor, there's these little icons by the send button, and the third icon from the left is that one right there. Select that and then say insert template, and then just pick one of those templates. It doesn't matter which one you pick there. There we go. So we have the ability to create templates for ourselves. So if you find that you're logging the same, kind of stuff all the time, you can create it. And then when we clicked on that, it said either insert a template, but the other option is save a template. You can save your own templates and quickly get stuff back to customers. So a good example about that is like if I we talked about it, if I have my web to lead form and then I say, hey, I've got that coming in and I want to actually create a lead in Salesforce, I'll create it through my Gmail interface, which we'll go through, and then I'll go a template and send them back something and said, hey, appreciate you doing this. And then maybe there's, what's a good time to arrange a call or something like that. And that could be a template. So productivity, I would say 30% of the emails that I send out now, I use templates to do it. And they're very specific, usually to lead follow-up or opportunity follow-ups, is where I use the templates quite a bit. The other tab that we have up there is new task. Go ahead and select in the activity section, new task. We can assign ourselves a task. So if I call somebody, I can come here and say, call them back, and that rolls up to that home page as our open tasks and stuff like that. So go to the subject line and just type the word test in there. There we go. And then after you write test in there, go to the next field and go to due date. And then on the right is a little calendar. Go ahead and just click on the calendar and pick Monday or Tuesday, whatever you want, and then hit save. What we see here is our activity timeline. It says past activity. Those are past emails, past meetings, past calls that I've logged. Next steps are meetings that haven't happened yet and activities that I set up for myself, to tasks that I set up for myself. So those
Okay.
are the things that will show up there. So in this particular example, if you're out, Chris calls, I search Chris, then I can see that, be like, hey, Matt said this, and then, oh, there's that activity. If I finish it for you, I can click it off and say that I did it on that side of it. Events, I don't
Okay.
worry too much about events. We still use our calendar in Gmail and then have it sync with Salesforce. So I still do my meeting
Okay.
invites through Gmail. I still do all that stuff, and that stuff will push automatically into Salesforce for us. So the three
So
primary
you're
ones.
saying
Go ahead.
you're saying use the templates in like under activity, right, to respond to email, but not like you're saying actually go to Gmail. Now I'm not following you there,
Yeah,
Pat.
what I
Somehow.
was saying on the like, there's the one tab that says new events. That's calendar stuff. My
Yeah.
recommendation is that you still use your calendar in Gmail as your primary calendar.
Okay.
And then,
And what is the reason?
well, just because it's easier to use and it syncs into
Okay.
Salesforce automatically for you.
Okay.
So this way you're not
And then
having
are
to.
you saying this?
Sorry, go ahead.
Are you saying this thing with Gmail?
Yeah, I'm saying that in your Gmail calendar, if you have a meeting with somebody, just schedule it in your Gmail calendar, and it will
Oh, no,
automatically
I've got
sync in
that. So
there. Yeah.
yeah, so Google Calendar, schedule your meetings or schedule anything in Google Calendar.
Yeah.
But Gmail itself for emails, would we be using Gmail for email?
I would.
Of course.
You can choose to use other. I still use a lot of Gmail stuff. Where I use this is when I want to do like a quick template one, right? So,
Okay.
and typically where I do templates are new leads. So if somebody called in and then I want to follow up with them, to see if they're still interested, I might have a template. Instead of me typing out, hey, you asked about this product, are you still interested? While I'm looking at it in my list view, I'd be like, oh, I gotta want to send this guy that "Are you still interested?" template. Then I just hit email and select the template. Same thing with opportunities.
Okay, and that,
Go ahead.
sorry, just to clarify, I might have missed this. This actually shows all of our signatures at the bottom, like our card information, like it would look exactly the same
You
as
got
if
it.
we were to send it via
You got it.
to that
Exactly.
portal?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'd have to create that template inside of.
You don't have to. You do. It's worthwhile doing it inside of it. And how you do that is, if you click on the little round person up in the top right hand corner. Yeah, there we go. And then it says there's view profile, so we can go in there and then in that just hit settings, and then there'll be an option there for email, and then you can put in your signature on that side of it. So over on the far
Okay.
left, select that option that
Yeah.
says email. It's just down a little bit. Just down a little bit more. It's fourth from the bottom. There it is. And just
Got it.
click on that. And then my email settings, go ahead and click that. And then this is where we put our signature in.
Okay.
Yeah. And then that'll be the signature and you can do whatever you want on that side of it. So again, you're still using your Gmail, and we're going to get to the Gmail stuff here in a minute. Quite a bit, like, just natural. You're replying to emails. You're used to sending emails from there, and we're going to forward those emails to Salesforce through your Gmail. But I like the templates when I'm doing. Again, I have a list of opportunities, and then I have like one, an email template that says one more time, and then it'll be like, the email template. Hey, I thought I would reach out one more time to see if you're still interested in this. So I just don't
Okay.
have to type that every single time, right? And then I hit send. And then if the guy doesn't reply to it, then I move the opportunity to close lost.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go back up to
Yep.
the universal search and we'll just click on Chris's name and we'll kind of finish with his theme here. There we go. So what happens? Chris calls me. I look up his record real quick. Then he says, "Hey, I need a price on ABC." If we, so let's go back on the related. Then we see opportunities. It could be in the, yeah, click that. That's fine. Top right hand corner, there's a button that says new, the far right corner. All the way over to the, there we go. There's lots of ways to get to that new button, but essentially here's our opportunity that we're going to create for
Okay.
you. And then we can customize this. The key things that we look at here, and I'm going to clean this up a little bit. I got to work on this a little bit more. But when we look at it, we name our opportunities. Typically, I name our opportunities like if you have that quote number, a lot of times, I might put that in there. Myself, I always use like a company name and then kind of a product name and then maybe a location name. Um, as far as the opportunity name, and then we close date. When do we think the customer is going to take it? And then stage. If you go to the far right, there's the field that says stage, and underneath that it says none. It's just up and to the right a little bit. There we go. Those are your standard from Salesforce. We can modify those as we go through the process. For you, a lot of it is going to be I propose to the guy. So that'll be where most of our stuff comes in. Qualification can be I have an existing account, say the city of Port Coquitlam called you and they said, I heard this, the HR department is going to have a big conference and you might want to reach out to them and see what they need from an audiovisual perspective. So I could come in here and I
Okay.
could create a new one called Port Coquitlam HR, conference. And then, but I need to qualify because they haven't actually asked me for a quote yet. Right? So, that would be an example of that. And then when they say, yeah, that's great, we need a projector, we need some speakers, we need a mic, we need a sound man. Okay, great. I'm going to do a proposal for you. I'd mark it as proposal and I'd go to your Televan system and I'd prepare the proposal for the customer. So
Okay.
those are the things that I would do, to create that on that side of it. And this is where we log our sales opportunities to allow us to start to create our sales funnel and forecast for us.
Okay.
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 So, very important component of it. So and then what I'm showing you right now, you can go in and we can start entering some data. What I'd like you to do is just kind of, get used to orientating it. We'll set up a session next week because I still got some more data stuff to put into the system, and we'll do another training session next week. And we'll be a lot closer to making you feel more comfortable next week with it. But this is just kind of an orientation session right now. Show you that I've loaded a lot of your data in for you already, and then I'll finish doing that over the next few days. And then next week we'll do another session and really focus on getting the system operational for you.
Okay, so I think that's my big question is we are kind of struggling right now because we're trying to get away from Insightly,
Yeah,
the we're using now.
yeah.
How soon, realistically, Pat, could we start using Salesforce?
You could start using it today if you wanted to. Because I'm just loading historical stuff in there. Most of the historical stuff I'm doing won't have a lot of impact on what you're doing. If a customer calls you today, my recommendation is create a lead. And then if they say give me a quote, convert it to an account, search if the account's there already, and then go to Televent, create your quote and put the number in here, right? If you start doing that today, you'll be fine. There's not a big deal on that side of it.
And has Andrew been added in as a user yet?
He hasn't. So I've got his email. I'll do that this afternoon, and then he'll get a thing from Salesforce to set up his password.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've been filming
And
this.
then,
I missed a little bit of the lead stuff, but I've got a good video on leads. I'll put in there, and I'll get this in here for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I guess, you know, you sound like a busy guy. We're super busy as well. You know, we're like, you know, I know I appreciate you were going to get some of the stuff in there. We're going to start using it, or I'm going to start using it today,
Great.
and start, you know, getting a better feel of it and stuff like that. But when do you think realistically we'd have most of the data in there? Or
Yeah, I mean,
I know there's some work on our end. We need to probably get you a little more stuff, but you've got some stuff to do
yeah,
probably anyway.
yeah.
So
All the data
when do
you
you think we could have it up and running?
Yeah, all the data you
Realistically.
gave me, I want it all in by Wednesday for sure. I've got 80% of it in there, or well, maybe not quite 80, probably more like 65. I've got to do, your individuals, John, Sally, Sue, and things like that. I've got to enter their stuff, and then I've got some activity stuff that came out of Insightly that we want to put in. But I've got the basis of all your key accounts in here, and I've got probably 40% of your contacts in. And most of those are with your
Okay,
key
just
accounts.
uh, yeah, just to jump in on that, I think we talked earlier about trying to grab you more information from IntelliVent, and seemingly I have to take another look at it, but it's not giving me the option to generate like a CSV file or anything even remotely close to that that gives a description besides the actual code number, the job number. So I just want to throw that out there. I can take another look at it really.
Well, we're going to have Linda, our bookkeeper, is going to be in today, and I'm going to talk to her about, she's more familiar with pushing info from IntelliVent to QuickBooks.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a file there we can use.
Yeah, you can export some stuff. If it has that number, that job number, if that gets
Yeah.
pushed to QuickBooks, we're good to go, right? Because I've got all your job numbers in the system.
Okay.
Right?
So, hey, Pat, have you got a few more minutes here
I
before?
do. Yeah, I got 10 more minutes, and then I'll wrap it up. And then what I would suggest is after this meeting, we'll book a meeting for Wednesday, and then I'll have the other additional data in there. And then what we can do on Wednesday is we'll focus more on. I'll get the full integration going with your Gmail, and we'll go through this process on how you do everything I showed you today directly through Gmail.
Okay, so right now, for instance, if we are scheduling things in Google Calendar and stuff like that, when we do the Gmail integration, we can, pop all that